Right.
So Trump has been, exalting the vaccine, still hasn't taken it back, still thinks it's great. And Tucker didn't ask him about that last night. Now, I know he only had 45 minutes, and there's a lot of other stuff to talk about. And maybe if they had 2 hours, he would have gotten around to it. But he did ask him some questions about Biden, about Harris, about the stuff going on with him, what he thinks of all that. And also, Tucker did actually ask him a pretty, a question that I thought he definitely would not have been allowed to ask on Fox News when he asked that, when he asked Trump, he goes, do you think they'll try to kill you? And you're like, whoa, that's a hell of an ask. And I'm sure that if that was in some kind of Fox News interview, they would have cut that, they would have edited that out and not let him play it. But asking him straight up, do you think they'll try to kill you? And look, I want
to know. Didn't watch the interview yet. I want to know what Trump said to that.
He didn't dance around it, but he basically said, they'll try anything to get rid of me. So
at this point, I don't think he's wrong.
Yeah. If this doesn't work and nothing they try works. And if this whole indicting him on multiple charges thing doesn't work, rather than him become president, I wouldn't put it past them to try something like that. The only thing that makes me think they would stop is that Trump supporters, as hardcore as they are, that might be war. Like if they get an inkling that this guy, was done away with by some nefarious means, they might then make January 6th look like a birthday party.
Yeah.
At that point. Thank you very much to Sid Saraf with 1999. Says, welcome back, Johnny. Thank you very much. Puts us down at 175 for today. Thank you very, very much. Somebody saying they'll poison his McDonald's. See, now that's how you know something fucky would be afoot, if you ask me. All right, so let's get to some of these clips here. Again, Trump, Tucker last night, and we've got I don't want to tell you how many views it has yet. You could easily go find that on Twitter because we've got an MSNBC clip and a CNN clip where they're both very salty that this interview was happening because, remember, they all want the ratings from Trump being on that debate. And if Trump goes on the Tucker interview, Tucker gets all those views and X gets all those views. They don't like it. So they're going to go and say, oh, yeah, this is a big mistake by Trump. This was terrible. Nobody's going to watch it. We'll get you the view count number on that in just a little bit. But first, this is Trump talking about Kamala Harris, and I just thought this was kind of funny. Just a little taste of what you'll see from him. Campaign season Trump is the most entertaining Trump. It's just a guy with a shit gun flinging
he's
it.
Firing at everybody.
Oh,
and this one thing I'll say about Trump over Biden, I don't like old people being in office, being in charge. I don't. And Trump's no exception to that. But as opposed to Biden, Trump has kind of Biden when he ran for office against Trump the first time. He has that kind of energy all the time. He's never really come down from that. Whereas Biden had that, and now we have Maui Biden that just fucking falls asleep everywhere.
Just nodding off.
Yeah, so I don't see how anyone can stand up to Trump in terms of just the way he will fire at them and say anything. Nobody on the Republican side, I think, has the balls to stand up to him. And I don't think even if Biden did, which he doesn't have the energy. Fucking grandpa needs to lay down. So who do you have that's going to go up against him legit?
Look, the age thing worries me too. I don't like the age thing, especially if they don't run Biden and they run someone younger. But it sounds like they're going to stick with Biden. So, fuck it. Trump's younger than him. Let him run. I just don't like the idea of a guy turning 80 in the White House.
Kamala Harris in charge. She's done such a bang-up job so far.
What's her big issue? Do you remember what they give every vice president a big issue? Do you remember what hers is?
Wasn't she supposed to be the border czar?
Yeah, she's the border guru.
Yeah.
She's doing great. Let's check out Trump on Tucker yesterday. A couple of clips here.
So back to Biden, I'm interested. So you think he's failing? He obviously is failing. I think it's clear to everybody. But that would make Kamala Harris the candidate?
Well, not really. I mean, I guess they'd have maybe a free-for-all. A lot of people say she has to remain for certain reasons the candidate. She has to. I don't think that's true, actually. I don't think that other people would stand for it. She has some bad moments. Her moments are almost as bad as his. I think his are worse, actually.
Yeah.
The subtle shitting on people is back, where he's like, look, she has terrible
they're
moments.
worse, actually.
She has terrible moments. Some of them are as bad as
it's almost art.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think he has to try. It's just natural.
He doesn't get worked up. He doesn't yell. He doesn't. And I do this same thing when I shit on people. Is I just go, look, man, it's a failure. What are you gonna do? You know, that's a better way because you're more in control. It's more subtle. You're saying it matter of factly. You're not saying it as like, and she's a piece of shit and she sucks. Like, well, obviously she's a failure and she says stupid things. I mean, sometimes even dumber than Joe. You sound more authoritative when you say it that way. It doesn't sound like you're being silly and shitting on someone. It sounds like honest analysis when you say it that way. And then you make the other people feel stupid for thinking that she's not an idiot.
But
She seems pretty senile, too.
she speaks in rhyme.
I love the look on his. She seems pretty senile too.
Yeah.
Seems pretty senile, too.
She speaks in rhyme. And, it's weird. It's weird.
It's weird.
She speaks in rhyme, you know. It's weird. It's weird. It's like they're talking about a bipolar cousin they have.
Yeah, and the best part is, for everything I've seen with Trump, him just going, she speaks in rhyme. It's weird. It's weird. And I'm like, somehow that hits so hard for him. Just like, it's weird. You know? It's fucking weird.
Like it troubles him. Like he stays up at night wondering what the fuck that's all about.
How does she get through a day? She's got to have like a thesaurus on hand.
You know,
is she practicing for a rap career? Like,
But she has bad moments. And
In rhyme? What do you...
well, the way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there because that's what buses do.
That's actually a pretty good Kamala Harris impersonation. Every time I'm like, he's old. I didn't really like him that much the first time. He's kind of a hustler and kind of a gimmick guy. He just starts talking again, and I'm like, fuck it. Let's do this again. You know?
That's where I'm at with him. I don't like, I just from my history of knowing him, I don't like Donald Trump as a person.
Yeah.
But overall, considering what we've had for the last, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll take that. I'll order that again. It's like, look, if we lived in a country where we had better alternatives for leadership, yeah, in a perfect world, Donald Trump would be nowhere near being president. But we are surrounded by either corrupt oligarchs who are 80 years old, entrenched in the system and bilking us out of our money, or complete retards. Like, you can have a Mitch McConnell, a Joe Biden, a Dianne Feinstein who are dug in and they represent corporate interests, and that's all they represent, not you. They will fuck up your life, your gas prices, your groceries, all to serve their masters so they can make a couple of pennies on the side. Or your alternative to that, if you want to stick to politicians, is a true believer like AOC who's out of her fucking mind. So you guys create Donald Trump. You create this vacuum where there are no JFKs. You know, there are no Dwight David Eisenhowers. There was a David Petraeus, but you guys pinned some fake affair on him and then fucked him over. You use the skeletons in his closet. We have leaders, but you guys try to kill them. And then
don't let him go.
Right. And then we get this guy comes along and then you're like, hey, why are you voting? He's not serious. Why are you voting for him? Because have you watched yourselves lately? You're not serious.
It's weird.
And honestly, he's fucking over. He's not fucking over the country. He literally, he enriched himself. Sure. But so does everybody in. So they're like, oh, he enriched himself. He got sweet deals for his family. What do you think you guys are doing?
Right.
And while he did that, we were all doing relatively well, which is kind of how that stuff slides.
Right. I don't care if my leaders are corrupt and make money as long as I make money too. If I make a little bit of money, I'm okay. But if you guys are sitting there with sweetheart deals with your crackhead son and making tens of millions of dollars and we're sitting here drowning, that pisses people off. I don't give a shit if my president's getting a blowjob or if my president's setting his son-in-law up with great Saudi deals. As long as the economy's going great, we all got money in our pocket. Then it's fine. But when we're $33 trillion in debt, you guys are raking it in and we're going, please, sir, may I have some more? it pisses us off a little bit, and we go, fuck it, let's load this guy up for another 4 years. It's amazing to me that they still don't understand. They created him, and they're still creating him. Do you think he would be at 55% in the Republican polls if they weren't indicting him right now?
No. Their continual need to go after him is pushing more and more people to like him. Case in point, me.
Right.
Every time I read a new indictment thing, I'm like, you know what? I'm just like, I'm fucking voting Trump. If
it's the brick through the window thing again, just like in 2016. That's why I voted for him in 2016, is I was like, fuck it, let's throw a rock through the window. I want to see what happens. And now you guys rebuilt the window, and it's a cuntier window than you had before, and we're like, hey, bring that brick back. Let's throw him through there again.
We'll go here, and then the bus will go there, because that's what buses do. And it's weird. The whole thing is weird. This is not a president of the United States future. And I think they probably have some kind of a primary, and other people will get involved.
Newsom, right? I
mean, could be. I mean, you know, I always got along well with him, believe it or not. But could be him, could be somebody else. He's got a big load on his shoulders, because you look.
A lucky guy. Lucky Gavin Newsom with that big old load on his shoulders.
Well, he's been kneeling down in front of George Soros and other private interests to F over California. So they've been, you know, dropping loads on him. He's got so many pearl necklaces he can barely stand.
Left one is for Klaus Schwab. Right one is for George Soros. You never mix up the cum catchers, ever.
Well, they meet in the middle as they dribble
on
down.
his chin. Yeah.
Look at California, what's happened. But I don't know if the American people really, the people that vote for him, I don't even know if they care. You know, you look at so many of the things that are going on, and people don't seem to be. In the old days, if you had a bad record, it meant a lot. Today, if you have a bad record, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, he looks good. He's a nice-looking guy, speaks well. But Biden, every time you watch him talking, it's like he's walking on eggs. You're waiting for him to collapse.
And that's
not wrong.
That's both funny, true, and sad at the same time, because it's like, that's still our president and we need him to do well. But it just, you're watching it, you're going, he's not going to. It's like when that retarded kid on your baseball team came up and you're like, we need a hit here. We need a single. But you can just look at the way he's holding the bat. And you're going, it's not going to happen. Like, he's on my team.
We need a Rudy moment from you. I love the taste of cherries. We're fucked.
Yeah, like, I need you to do well. I want you to do well. We're on the same team. But I'm also a realist, and I know this has no shot of working.
And he almost always does. And I got to know the leaders of all of the countries, essentially, but the big ones. And the bigger, the tougher the leader.
Yeah, so that's the other thing, is like, Joe Biden looks like an absolute popsicle all the time.
Yeah.
And then you juxtapose that with Vladimir Putin, who's literally murdering generals, and you're like, yeah, we're fucked. Like, we're totally screwed.
Yeah, I'm sure Putin looks at Biden and goes, wow, that's a dangerous, scary guy, and I don't want to mess with him.
Yeah, right. Fuck you, dude, over on Rumble says they 100% would try and take him out. Look at JFK. Sean Raz says if this soft assassination doesn't work, they will go for a JFK style. Joke's on you. I don't own a limousine. Sean Raz says, I hated Trump pre-2016. I voted for him because I couldn't deal with Hillary. The left forced me to support him. It's a lot of people feel that exact same way.
I think this time there's even more.
They keep saying that, like, oh, no, he's so unelectable. I think they were trying to say that in the debate yesterday. Nikki Haley was like, oh, yeah, we got a clip of that in just a little bit here, where she's like, oh, yeah, he's not electable. And it's like, well, everybody who voted for him last time is going to vote for him again, because they're probably more for him than they were before after everything that's happened these last few years. And then you know that he's had to have grabbed a few people that are begrudgingly like, look, I don't like his style. I think he's kind of a prick, but, you know, I see reality. You know, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I just see reality, and things were a lot better off under his watch than under this guy. I'll give him another shot. I mean, I just don't see.
That's where I'm at. I think a lot of people are sitting in that boat. Anyone who's struggling to make their bills meet or keep food on the table for their kid is probably going, 3 years ago, this was nowhere near as bad. Right. So I'll take mean tweets, or I guess mean X posts now. Whatever we call that. Mean X's.
Help Solve says, over on Rumble says, joined late. Have we already explained the masturbation chair? Yeah, it's Johnny's Men in Black egg chair. He has to take a test to see if he can fight aliens later. I mean, is that...
Well, I'm using it for my show. I have a rule on my show. If the show's... Because I have a relatively low show goal. And if the show goal is met, everyone loves the egg chair. We started out with it because it was fun for gaming in. And people are always like, where's Humpty? So it's like, if the goal's fully met for the day and we're not worrying about goals or funding, I just roll in the egg chair. We do the egg chair thing.
Simple enough. About 650 of you in here at the moment, not counting X and Facebook. So go ahead and hit like. Go ahead and hit share. It does help the algorithm, which is great. And to see all of you Rumble followers continuing to join us, I love that. I love seeing that follower number go up. Let's do the same on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere else. 175 away from today's goal. And if you haven't heard yet, Johnny is back from his bout with whatever illness he had. He's taken over for April today. Gino Bisconti will be in the co-host chair tomorrow for Rumble Friday. Gino on Rumble Friday could get very interesting. And what we're going to do the next 2 days is when we go over, half of it's going to the co-host. So 175 away, not very far away. You guys have been great so far. And then after that, half will go towards tomorrow's goal. The other half right into Johnny's pocket, if you'd like to throw in. So there you go. Let's watch a little mainstream media coverage of Donald Trump and his interview with Tucker Carlson. Now, Johnny, I'm going to give you two choices. The mainstream media either covered this very openly, very honestly, talking about why Trump didn't go to the debate and why this was a better move for him, or B, they got really bitter and cunty and started to express that cuntiness on the air instead of giving the news.
Oh, I'm totally going with B.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if you're right. I know you're look, I know you're on pins and needles. I know you're not very confident in your guess. I know you're not sure if CNN covered it that way. So let's not waste any more time. Let's see what they thought about the Trump-Tucker debate.
Yeah. Given we know Bakari, Donald Trump's not going to be showing up and he's going to be trying to counter-program. And then you have on Thursday, him turning himself in, as Kevin rightly put, is going to steal a lot of the spotlight. What do you think?
No. Whoa. Him turning himself in is not him stealing the spotlight. People like
That's you guys trying to fuck him over, okay?
You guys are trying to bend him over and fuck him, and he's showing up for his fucking, and you guys are like, look at this attention whore showing up for his fucking. It's like, he has better shit to do. You indict him 5 times over bullshit. The Georgia one, he literally called the governor, who's of the same party as him, and goes, hey, any way you can help me pull this out? And he's like, no, I can't. Ah, shit. And they're like, well, he's got to go to jail. It's like, I don't know if you guys remember a little election called Kennedy versus Nixon, but JFK's daddy was making a lot bigger phone calls than that. Not only that, but in 2000, George W. Bush's fucking brother was the governor of the state that was having the recount.
And that was never worth someone getting indicted over.
No, right. Jeb Bush didn't necessarily do anything wrong. They just used the political advantages they had in Florida to shut down the recount. It's dirty pool, but it's not illegal. And Trump asking a guy, hey, anything you can do to fucking budge me ahead over there? That's totally fine to ask that question. Is it a little scummy? Is it looking to, play a little dirty pool? Absolutely. But you're allowed to ask.
As we've been saying on this show at this point, with how corrupt the politics and politicians are, at least in this country, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Right. And is that really even cheating? It's just you going, hey, think you
No, it's not. My point is it's aiming to cheat.
Right.
Because it's aiming to bend the rules. But again, if you're not trying to do that in some way, shape, or form, why are you even running for election? And as we've seen, it's not like the other side didn't play any dirty pool either. It was awfully dirty to keep that laptop story under wraps and a bunch of other shit that they did. I really don't have a problem with Trump trying to do this shit because as far as I'm concerned, at least on just misleading the public alone, the election was swayed.
Well, that's how I've always felt about politics in general. Is it's kind of like steroids in baseball. Let everybody cheat, and whoever wants it more can cheat more. There you go.
I want to see someone bend an aluminum bat hitting a ball and the ball just explodes.
Yeah, right.
That would be amazing.
Okay, what Trump did in Georgia is like me going to a guy I'm golfing with and going, hey, can I kick this ball and you won't count it as a stroke? And they'll be like, no, fucking hit the ball. And then I hit the ball. And you can't give me an extra stroke for that just because I went, hey, what do you think? Can I kick this? No, you cheating fuck. You can't kick it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I imagine on a golf course more, you'd walk up to someone, hey, how do you feel about pocket balls? And they just kind of silently start scooching away from you.
Here's what I do. I go, how do you feel about pocket balls? They're like, that's kind of against the rule. What if I give you one too? Be part of what I am. All right, so let's see. I love that. I had to stop that lady. She's like, oh, he's going to take the spotlight with reporting for his Georgia charges. It's like, you guys did that. You can't.
We're only trying to arrest him. He's going to be such a glamour hog. Be like, look at me, I'm going to jail.
Oh, he's being such a cunt about us arresting him.
Because I know you are always in the business of giving advice to Republicans. What do you think a win looks like on the debate stage tomorrow?
Yeah, they don't listen to my advice, though. Goodness gracious. So, look.
Yeah, that's because you say shit like, hey, don't nominate the guy that 60% of your voting public wants to be candidate. I love this guy's like, yeah, the Republicans don't listen to my advice. That's because the advice you give is, hey, ignore 2/3 of your voting public, and then you'll be fine.
Your advice is, hey, Republicans, do the stuff the Democrats want to do.
Right. Hey, Bakari, they don't really listen to you. Why is that? I don't know. I give really good advice, like just be Democrats. Spend a shitload of money and then don't worry about where it comes from.
Trump really doesn't like me. He says that I'm a political rigger.
I think there are a few things. The first
Oh, no, he's a Democrat, so she was being sarcastic. I was going to say, huh?
is
damn.
that I somewhat disagree with my friend and my colleague today about who has the most to lose and the most to gain, and that being Ron DeSantis. And the reason being is because we actually have DeSantis' work product. I mean, Ron DeSantis got mollywopped in the debate by Andrew Gillum, and he got destroyed by Charlie Crist, and I'm not sure Charlie Crist is anybody's example of what
Wait a minute, where are you? Where are you, what ass are you pulling that out of? Didn't he beat both of those guys by didn't he just win his reelection by 30 points or something like that? Oh, yeah, he got fucking destroyed by Charlie Crist in the debate. Yeah, you know who disagrees with you?
The voting populace of Florida.
Yeah, 2/3 of Florida disagrees with you. God, these people, it really is incredible. I like watching their I couldn't watch one of their shows, but watching their clips is kind of fun. Because you go on there and you go, oh, my God, you guys just weld yourself into a bubble of delusion and then just huff each other's farts all day.
They're metaphorically living in a chair that I'm sitting in.
Yes, they are. They are in a rhetorical egg chair at the moment.
Glowing political candidate should be at this stage in his career. And so we actually know how he debates and how poorly he debates. For me, I think that it's kind of going to go South Carolina, meaning Tim Scott and Nikki Haley with the most upside. Then Donald Trump, even though he's not there, probably having an opportunity to win the debate. And then the third tier is going to be those individuals who actually have some fortitude, who stand up against Donald Trump. And those two individuals right now are only Asa Hutchinson and Chris Christie.
Oh, well, you know, hey, Asa Hutchinson and Chris Christie, not dirty, rotten, corrupt bastards at all. God, could this guy just say, look, I don't like Trump and I want them all to attack him and be mean to him and drag him down? Like, I love when people like give you advice and then try to paint it as, oh, yeah, this is totally what's best for you, when really what they're trying to do is sell you on what they need.
Yeah.
God.
And it doesn't really work out for you. And then they're like, hey, man, it's not my fault. I just gave you the idea. You had to make it work. And then on top of that, if you ignore their ideas, like, well, you know, I try to help, but they won't take any help from me. You act like your help is literally to kick me in the dick for your own benefit, Dick. No, thank you.
And then not only that, but like they all need like Jesse Pinkman standing next to them going, just for once, tell me you want this.
So I think those are the three tiers of individuals who have an opportunity to win tomorrow night. And just for the record, Donald Trump's counter-programming is horrible. I don't think...
I gotta hear this. Him doing we're going to give you the view count after this clip.
Anybody's going to be watching Tucker Carlson on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now And I don't think anybody's going to be responsive to his quote-unquote counter-programming. However, regardless of if Nikki and Tim, who are talented, who do give a vision for the future, politically we disagree, but...
Fuck you. You want them... Don't give me this shit, Democrat, like you want those two to win because they're good. You want them because your party can kick the shit out of them. That's why. That's like me saying, oh, yeah, you know who the best Democrat is for 2024? Joe Biden. They've got to run Joe Biden. I mean, he's so experienced and smart. I may not agree with him politically, but boy, I tell you, that guy's on top of things.
Dude, this is the same shit they've been doing for a month or two ago. CNN was running just a fucking slew of, well, do you hear how much of a shouter Joe Biden is off camera? Oh, that Biden's a real tough customer to people when the cameras aren't rolling, when he's not in front. Oh, he's been known to berate some staff members and yell at people. Oh, he's a real, and it's just kind of like trying to sell this like, wow, people are just like, oh my gosh, I'm just so worried about getting reprimanded by Joe Biden. It's like, no. He is not some sort of tour de force off screen. Joe's taking a fucking nap. All right. Yeah. Like when the cameras are off, the guy's laying down. Okay.
I'm not trying to give advice to the Republicans, and I'm not being sneaky here in any way whatsoever, but I think they should nominate one of the people that 99% of the party is not in any way interested in. Let's let him finish up his little thing here. He says that the Trump counter-programming with Tucker is horrible, it's bad, and nobody's going to watch it.
It seems to be healthy for the Republican Party. Even if they have a good night, that's going to be short-lived because at 6 a.m. people will be talking about something else.
Yeah, that interview that nobody's watching. All right, so nobody, what did he say, Johnny? Nobody's going to watch it.
Nobody's going to watch it. Nobody's going to tune in.
It's all bullshit, and it's bad for you. Right now, let me hit refresh. The Tucker and Trump Twitter interview has 165.4 million views on Tucker's account alone. Okay, let's say that half of those are bots. Let's do that. I'm sure they're not, but let's go ahead and give them every advantage possible. And let's say half of them are bots. That would still be a good 82.5 million people.
All right.
That have watched Tucker and
do you have any numbers on the debates? Or
let's see if we have any numbers on the debates. Ratings for Republican debate. The ratings are not, I think those usually come out like 24 hours later.
Damn.
I could be wrong. Yeah, it doesn't have any ratings information yet. Ramaswamy emerges as lightning rod at GOP debate. Oh, shit. Did Ramaswamy win? That's too bad because all the other Republicans they were busy watching Donald Trump. First name.
Great. Ramaswamy won, so that we now know who, literally, it's the race to be the runner-up. I really don't care.
Right. First name, last name says complete clown show last night. Not one of them are worthy of the nomination for president or vice president. Skeezy says, watch them claim that his counter-programming is election interference. That wouldn't surprise me in the least. But the thing with those people is they don't get truly desperate until they throw out the soft touches and those don't land. Then they really try to throw out the ridiculous shit. Sean says they don't all necessarily have to be American to watch, though. That's a good point. It's fair enough.
Fair enough.
Let's say
still, if people are paying attention, that's still the point. Nobody's going to watch this. People are watching it.
Fair enough. Let's say half are bots, and then half of that half are from elsewhere than the United States. That would be 41 million Americans still watched it. So
that's a shit ton.
It's a lot of people. Ramaswamy is basically brown-skinned Ron Paul from the 2012 debates. Okay. I mean, again, if Trump's not at the debates, do they really count as full debates? You know what it's like? It's like watching preseason football. You're watching the second-string defense, the second-string offense, and you're like, well, I know I'm watching people wearing my team's uniform, but that's not my team.
Plus, if they pull a hamstring, it's not like it's going to affect the main game.
Yeah.
So who really cares?
They're going to be fine.
That's where we need to make it more blood sport-esque. If Trump's not involved, these debates need to take on the form of American gladiators, like full-fledged. Put them in the foam, the thing, and everything. Like have them go up against Laser, Blazer, and all the fucking Azers, and just like shoot foam balls at them. I want to see Ramaswamy dodging foam balls. I want to see DeSantis get hit in the ball with a tennis ball. I just it's going to be great. The joust would be awesome.
So we're done. We're done, basically. Yeah, it's over. Why take it seriously?
Why not, dude? We're so close to electing Mountain Dew,
Macho Camacho. Yeah.
Macho Camacho, Mountain Dew, whatever. Yeah.
Colorful Glasses says, remember the fable of the scorpion and the frog? It's in their nature. Exactly. They're just going to do that. Lab Glass says they were going after Vivek pretty hard, and it didn't faze him. I mean, he seems like a pretty calm, cool customer.
He's had a lot of people go after him pretty hard, and he just kind of seems to brush it off. The only thing I don't know enough about him, like I'm too worried that that someone's got him in his pocket and we just don't know about it.
They do. I do know that like a few years ago he was shilling for like some New World Order-y type stuff, and it seems like he's kind of molded himself. Like Vivek Ramaswamy, the thing that makes me nervous about him is he seems too much like a product.
Like he's put himself out to be what we need, and because he's selling that, and then another Biden thing where once he gets in, he's just gonna do whatever he wants and fuck the people. Yeah,
Rob Mandugan says he's a pharma guy. I don't trust him. And look, I'll preface it with this: nobody's perfect. Everybody's got some kind of corruption or dirt on them. I mean, you have to if you're going to get to the point where you can be president. But yeah, I don't know if I trust the things he's saying. 175 away from today's goal. If you're just joining us today, anything over the goal today, half of it goes right to Johnny. Johnny is taking half of whatever our overage is today. So thank you guys very much for chipping in today. We do appreciate it. About 700 of you here. We appreciate that too. Hit like, hit follow, hit subscribe, hit all that stuff. We do appreciate it. All right, this is NBC News' coverage of Donald Trump's interview with Tucker yesterday and their coverage of the Republican debates. I think this is the last clip we have. Oh, shit.
We have to face the fact that Trump is the most disliked politician in America. We can't win a general election that way.
The audience is booing you.
Guys, I don't know who's running these people's teams. See, a lot of me believes that this primary season is basically these people's money laundering schemes. Like they take in donations from billionaires and millionaires and they extract a shitload of cash, and then they funnel that to other people who funnel it back to them as personal income. Like Black Lives Matter did. Remember Black Lives Matter? Patrisse Cullors paid her ex-boyfriend or boyfriend or whatever consulting fees, and then he put it right back in her pocket. That's what I think.
They do the same thing.
Yeah.
And plus, after election season's over, they've collected all this money for stuff. They don't necessarily have to disclose what they spend it on, and they don't have to give it back.
Right. So I think for a lot of these people, they come in, they get 1% of the vote. They get to throw their horse shit out there. They get to shill for whoever gave them the money. It's like a little sponsorship deal. And then they drop out of they drop out of the race. They take a cool few $1 million with them, and there it is. Because if you're Nikki Haley, or if you're someone running Nikki Haley's campaign, I can't believe that you would actually let her go out there and say that the guy that 60% of you want to be the candidate right now is a right piece of shit who nobody will vote for.
And that is going to be horrible for American elections.
Right.
I mean, literally, you're speaking to your electorate going, the guy you want is the person that nobody wants. And we're just like, no.
No, we
bitch,
all
that ain't how it flies.
You have to tell these people why they would want you instead of him. You can't go, you can shit on a guy who's at like 13%, and you can maybe convince people like, oh yeah, that guy is a dildo. But if the guy's at 55 or 60% and you start shitting on him, now everybody's circling their wagons around him. And now this is really going to be bad for you.
Welcome back. That was Nikki Haley earlier tonight, and perhaps the most direct attack on the former president during the debate tonight. Tonight's debate was at times surprisingly light on any focus on Trump, something his campaign perhaps had counted on. The former president appeared in a pre-recorded interview, part of a debate counter-programming strategy by his campaign. Joining me now, we have Vaughn Hilliard. He's in Atlanta, where the former president will be surrendering to authorities at the Fulton County Jail.
They're already camping out in Georgia, just getting the lotion ready and whacking off. Like, oh, he's camping out there in Georgia. He's going to be there bright and early when Trump turns himself in to be processed.
Yeah, and the thing is, these dumbasses don't realize that while they do this, the only people that salivate over this are the people that live in that bubble or believe that bullshit. But if you're independent or on the other side, the rest of us just lean harder into Trump because it's like, again, it's not even subtle.
Right.
You're like, hey, this counter programming attempt that he attempted to do, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and here we are waiting for him to get turning himself in. Because remember, guys, he's going to get arrested. Remember all those crimes he committed? Things that everybody else has done that we've kind of ignored all the time. The thing that Biden's done a bunch of hasn't been indicted once. But hey, Trump.
Oh, and Vaughn, this was a choice. The former president could have done this last week, could have done it Monday or Tuesday before the debate. Not an accident that this is happening at the end of the week after the debate.
No shit. He never said it wasn't.
Oh, and by the way, you tried to indict him and get him arrested and turned in before the debate because you actually didn't want him turning up to the debate, by the way.
Right.
You just didn't want him doing any counter programming. You just wanted him silenced as a whole. So the part you're pissed about is that he didn't turn himself in before the debate. He didn't go to the debate. He just went off and did his own thing. Yeah.
There's an old saying, they cry out in pain as they strike you. And to me, that's our media, crying out in pain as they strike you. Like, why are you victimizing me? As they punch you in the head. And you're like, I'm not fucking doing anything to you. Oh, I'm in such pain. They cry out in pain as they strike you.
Because I think what happens in Milwaukee, they hope stays in Milwaukee.
Right. This posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, just 5 minutes before this GOP debate started. It was a 45-minute conversation between Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump, and he, right off the top of the interview, was asked why he was not partaking in the Fox debate, and Donald Trump said, why would I do that when I'm up by 50, 60 percentage points? And why?
Yeah, that's 100% right.
It's called stating a fact. You guys should try it.
It's called hiking the ball and then taking a knee. I don't have to gain any more yards. I don't have to score any more points. I'm set here. You guys got to catch up with me.
Why would I stand there on a stage for 1 to 2 hours only to be harassed by others, including several who were at 0, 1, or 2% in polls? And he openly suggested that the likes of Asa Hutchinson, Chris Christie, they should drop out of the race completely. He suggested that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was gonzos in his own words.
He said that DeSantis is gonzo. I mean, that is, to me, that's the most surprising thing about this so far is that Ron DeSantis has been absolutely no challenge to Trump, because I really thought he was a little bit. I thought he was going to be a bit of a push, and I
thought he'd be more of one. He's kind of flustered and floundered this whole time to the point where I'm like, Ron, buddy, you should have just hung back and let all of this happen and come back at it in 4 years.
Yeah, I'm willing to admit that I don't look so good on that prediction, because I said, no, he's got to run now because he's the lockdown kid, and in 5 years, people are going to kind of forget about that, and he's not going to have as much cachet as he does now. But I also didn't count on Trump getting indicted 4 times and everyone rallying around him either. So they kind of created this monster.
And he directly talked about the now 4 indictments that he has faced over the course of these last 4 months, calling them BS.
Let's skip to them playing clips. I don't give a shit about these. Honest, I was just thinking about this. You could probably put 2 chimpanzees on the screen and you get about as much information as you are with these 2.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict? We seem to be moving towards something.
I don't know, because I don't know what it, I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen, and that's probably a bad combination.
For the amount in which the Republican candidates on that stage in Milwaukee went after one another, Chuck tonight, who have suggested that if Donald Trump were to be put into jail or lose the 2024 election, that they would see this going to a dangerous place. A woman just told me earlier this week in Iowa, that she, in her own words, thought the civil war was imminent here. I think we're at a very difficult point for this country, and Donald Trump is
right. Yeah, but why are we at a difficult point for this country? Is it because Trump voters and people who like Trump are just, oh my God, they're so unreasonable and they're just pushing and pushing and pushing? Or is it because of the shit you guys keep doing?
Is it because a blatantly obvious corrupt guy and a corrupt government are just needlessly hammering on this person because they clearly don't want him to be in office? Meanwhile, the rest of us are getting completely fucked over in terms of our investments, finances, daily lives, all of that shit. Life is just getting more and more expensive to the point where we're like, you know what? We're empathizing more with the guy you keep beating down.
Right. Labglass says it's definitely over on Rumble. Labglass says it's definitely a money grab for Haley, Christie, and DeSantis. I don't think Pence is smart enough to money grab. He'd probably spend it on marbles. That's remarkably mean-spirited, but I don't know his intellectual level. Maybe he does like to just play with marbles. Which, by the way, what's wrong with that? You tell me right now, what's wrong with playing with marbles? Huge Erection says, I'm with you, Aaron. I like it when Huge Erection is with me, and I know I'm on the right track. He says, I'm with you, Aaron. I like what he's saying. Don't know if I trust him. Exactly. Vivek Ramaswamy just seems like one of those guys who, like, he's checking all the boxes.
Yeah.
And that makes me nervous.
Yeah, it makes me nervous too. But like I said, the reason I've been a big fan of him so far is because I like the way the way he talks when I've seen him. But again, I openly admit I have no proof or validation to believe that is who he's going to be if he's elected. I mean, I have to hope.
Yeah.
That's it.
Edwin Lindstrom raises a great point because there's people in the chat going, I see so many Trump signs. I don't see any Biden signs. Edwin Lindstrom says Trump posters in yards don't win votes. And not only that, you got to think of where you live. You know, obviously, yeah, where you live, there's 90% Trump stuff to 10% Biden stuff. But all of the population lives in major cities that we don't live in.
And they also don't put a lot of signs out there.
Right. They don't put a lot of signs up there.
Get a couple in windows and shit, but most of them, most of them are just going to vote.
Ironically, because they're too broke from Biden's economy to afford those signs to hang up for their president. Hobo Chili Recipe says, notice everybody that's against Trump, he used to work for him, disgruntled ex-employees. I guess there's probably some of that. Skeezy says Trump isn't special. They will hate, ridicule, call names, and discredit anybody with an R next to their name. Well, no, here's what they'll do. They'll compliment other Republicans while he's around. They will talk about how good they are, how decent they are. I mean, once Pence totally disavowed any of the January 6th stuff, they were like, oh, Pence is reasonable. Pence is good. But I guarantee
he was the thing holding that whole thing together.
Right, but I guarantee if they end up somehow nominating Pence, they'll be like, oh, is Mike Pence a Nazi? Have you heard what he says about women? And does he hate black people? And is he, I mean, they're playing a game. That's all it is.
Turned on Trump, but how much did he really have to do with January 6th? Right. They'll back off on that, but they'll come back at it when they want to.
Yeah. Matt Melt says the media beats us because they love us. Regulatory Affairs says smooth-brained Democrats. Trump has immunity. Nixon v. Fitzgerald. Oh, shit, we're getting into case law here. Was a Supreme Court case that dealt with immunity from Newsom's prosecution of government officials. Well, lock them all up. Captain Caution with $5 says, vote for Tony Robbins, Tim Robbins, or Baskin Robbins. Okay. Thank you, Captain Caution. We will take that under advisement. And $5 from Coltrane. He says Trump should just refuse to pay the bail and see if they have the balls to lock him up. Lock him up and he becomes a martyr. Lock him up and the Secret Service shuts down the whole jail and they are forced to release or move all the criminals. How bad do you want to stop this guy? I wonder. 165 away from today's goal. And if you contribute today, half of what we go over the goal today, half of it goes into Johnny's pocket. That's what we're doing for today's show. Just a way to say thank you to Johnny for coming back this week, feeling better, and throw a couple of bucks in his pocket. We're already only 165 away. That's remarkably good. To give you an idea of how good that is, usually by 8 o'clock, we want to be under 200. So, fuck it. Get it back, get her down to 0, and then we start counting Johnny's money. at that point. And about 700 of you tuning into Steel Toe right now. Great to see, guys. Thank you very much. Only an hour and a half in. Hit like, thumbs up. That's great for the algorithm. Gets a lot of people in here. Hit subscribe. We appreciate it. There's a new report out, and we got a bunch of good stuff coming today. We got that rich woman who got totally shit-faced in the middle of the day. There's nothing better than a good day drunk crashing into somebody and then being caught on body cam. We've got that coming today. Also, we've got, you know what? Let's do this MSNBC clip real quick. I think this will kind of put a bow on everything. I forgot about this. If you're wondering if MSNBC is maybe losing their mind a little bit, that Trump is doing well in the polls and that they're getting a little desperate, listen to, they've gone with the passion play of January 6th is bad. They've gone with, if you like Trump, you're a bigot, or if, all kinds of attacks on Trump. I think this one might be the most desperate one I've heard so far.
We've been hearing, Gene, for so long that Iowa voters are deeply religious. Oh, they're sort of Christian evangelical.
Hold on, I'm going to full screen this just so we can, just so everybody can see. It's Morning Joe, and no offense, they do tend to be the craziest out of the MSNBC shows. Like, they really kind of just tee up crazy shit. But here's Joe. And look at these two. They left their spouses so they could fuck each other, and she just looks like no fun at all.
Is it weird, or have the years gone on? Looks like she's become more and more masculine.
She is. Yeah, she is becoming more and more masculine. And I think he married her mostly because her dad is basically, like, when they talk about the Trilateral Commission and the New World Order and shit like that, Zbigniew Brzezinski, her dad, is considered one of the guys. So if you've ever wondered if the New World Order conspiracy theories are true, just remember she got to anchor a morning news show with absolutely zero likability, presentability, or talent. So if that doesn't tell you that there's a secret society out there and her dad's the head of it, case in point.
Oh, and by the way, last time two other co-hosts decided to bone, they didn't get to keep their show.
Yeah, that's another thing. The Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski thing is every bit the scandal that TJ Holmes and Amy Robach is. But not only did they not get fired from their job and become pariahs from the industry like those two did, people went like, oh, good for you guys.
Oh, cute that you became a couple and now you're hosting a show together.
Yeah.
And Gene for so long.
Plus TJ Holmes is a way better name.
Religious.
Did they do it because he's black?
Oh, they're sort of Christian evangelicals are. Oh, they're the most. If you go to Iowa,
come on,
they love Jesus
don't
so much.
No.
We've been hearing that
it is
since Pat Robertson won in 1988, or maybe he was in second. I don't know. Maybe he won. I don't remember. But we've been.
That's good. Good news, man. Good news, man. First of all,
we couldn't look up some facts before the show.
I'm going to shit on a large chunk of my audience for being Christian. And then I'm going to go, oh, yeah, they're so fucking stupid over there. They voted Pat Robertson in 88, or maybe he came in second, or, I'm not really sure. I like to sound like an ignorant piece of shit when I call other people stupid. I wonder why our ratings aren't good.
They're so righteous. Oh, now what do we find out? They trust a four-time indicted reality TV show host who a New York judge called a rapist, who bragged about sexually molesting women, saying that it's the way it's always been, and maybe that's.
Oh, are they doing the grab them by the pussy thing? Holy shit, they're pulling out all the stops. I think somebody's a little worried. By the way, the only reason the people of Iowa trust him more is because your guy is a colossal fuck up. Don't put this on us. You put us in this position. You brought.
Yeah, but that's the worst part. They always go, and they trust this guy. Can you believe it? And we're like, yes. Now follow that train of thought to its logical conclusion. Why would they do that? Yeah, why would they do that? Look at your candidate. I know he's great, right? Jesus fucking Christ. Come on, man.
You brought me a potato. Of course I trust the rapist more than him.
Jesus Christ, Crowders.
Doesn't know whether it's good or not. Twice as many of these voters.
Porn star.
Porn star payoff illegal.
Yes. She is unlikable, like to the extreme, where they're, oh, come on, no. Talking over him, like that scowl on her face all the time. Again, if you don't believe in the New World Order, her dad is Zbigniew Brzezinski, and she got a gig.
It's not even just that she got a gig. It's that she keeps it.
Right.
Because, like, ratings are a thing.
Yeah, people on Fox have been fired for far less success.
I'm talking like 41. Porn star, payoff, illegal. But now, twice as many of them basically say, we trust that guy over a minister of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
Scene. Go, G.
No, I mean, it's just amazing. What those numbers suggest is that a whole lot of people in Iowa are going to hell, right? I mean,
that's where we're at. That's our big, astute political analysis now. God, this guy has broken so many people. This guy has just broken so many people that, first of all, he's got Joe Scarborough talking in that voice. And then this guy going, well, all these Christians are going to hell. What?